Flashback. End of flashback.
Well guys, it's I don't know, dark 100, early o'clock. It's too early. The sun's coming up. Been on the road for a bit. We've got about a 2-hour run here. See, I have this problem where I have too many projects and not enough time and resources, so I thought that the best thing to do to mitigate that would be to go get another project. So we're gonna go get another project. Long story short, feller out west of here bought a property, and there's 1960s, not sure what year it is, 1960s case backhoe sitting on it. Engine's stuck. Don't know how long it's been sitting. He's guessing at least 15 years, something like that. But the long and short of it is, I could really use a backhoe on the property. He wants it off his. So we're gonna take a chance on it and see what we can do with it. So we'll see when we get there, and hopefully all goes well today.
What later?
Alright guys, so we're going to dive into this backhoe and see if we can figure out why the engine's stuck, because apparently I'm not capable of buying anything that doesn't have a stuck engine. If you look at the exhaust here, there's a tiny little rot hole in the bottom of it, and that's all it takes. Let's get the spark plugs out and scope the bores and see what we got. Alright, so we got each of the plugs out. This rear one was a real pain with that, I don't know, that's power steering reservoir maybe. But here they are. And back two cylinders look rich, but otherwise alright. And then we have number 2 and number 1. So it would appear that especially number 2 is likely our problem cylinders. Number 2 probably has the valve open, and that's where water was running in. 1 a little bit, but not so bad. So let's get the bore scope out and have a peek down in there and see what it looks like. So here's cylinder 1, and that actually looks really good. So that's encouraging. Actually looks like there's a slight ridge where it may have sat once before and has moved. But all in all, really doesn't look bad. So let's have a look at number 2. So here's number 2, and honestly, 2 does not look bad either. So I'm getting guardedly optimistic here. Let's move on to number 3. Here's number 3, and they're just getting better, really. Number 3 is actually showing indications of crosshatch still in the bore, which is astonishing. Yeah, okay, so this thing might not be stuck too bad, but I shouldn't speak too soon. We got one more cylinder to look at. And here's number 4. Also looks really good. Still seeing indications of crosshatch, so we may just try dumping a little marble mystery oil or something of the like in there and seeing if she'll crank over. Alright, so got the bores soaking with some liquid wrench penetrating oil. This is good stuff. Everybody's all about the PB Laster, but that liquid wrench is really good penetrating lube. So I got that soaking in there. Don't think we really needed anything more aggressive than that. And there really isn't a good way to get at the crank snout on this because the hydraulic pump, I don't know if you can see it or not, the hydraulic pump is on the front of the engine. So I guess we're just going to take a chance here, and with the spark plugs all out and the cylinders soaking with penetrating oil, we're going to pull the battery out of this, or what used to be a battery, and chuck a new one in it and hit the button, see what it does. Might pop right loose, don't know. Apparently the previous owner did try this with jumper cables and got nothing. But you know, like I said, with the bores soaking with penetrating oil with no spark plugs in there, we might have a chance. So we'll see what happens here. Alright guys, so got the battery sitting up in here, and it's obviously way too big for what we're doing, but hopefully that means we'll have all the amps. And of course it's good because, you know, it's got a flag on it and it's made in America. So got the cable ends all cleaned up, just wire brush, nothing special. So we'll stick these bad boys on here, and worth taking the time to clean them up to make sure you got a good connection. We'll do a quick spark test here. Oops, helps if I put the camera where I'm trying to film. No sparks, so that's good. Means there's no draw on the system. Tighten these down good. That's not a very good connection, but hey, we'll give it a whirl. Key, a clutch. Key on. Nothing? What's this do? Oh. Nothing. What's this do? I don't know. Something? Well, that's kind of telling me we don't have a starter motor. Or we got a fuse problem. Take a look at the fuses here. What do we got going on down here? Is this good? It's filthy. Is it blown? Doesn't look like it's blown. I'll just stick that back in there. Get in there. I feel like this probably didn't come with a plastic fuse panel. Somebody's getting creative. What's this one? Is that blown? Oh, that doesn't look blown either. I'll just pull that in and out a couple times and maybe clean up the connections a bit. No idea what these are for. Do I need them? I don't know. Always fun inheriting somebody else's cobble jobs. I don't know what this does. Try it again. Nothing. Okay, we need to investigate this. So sometimes when you're a one-man band, you got to get a little creative here. Won't crank over, so we got a good old-fashioned homemade test light here. And you know, sometimes a test light is worth more than its weight in gold compared to a multimeter, because test light will actually load the wire, and you'll be able to tell, you know, if you're drawing a sufficient amount of amps through the wire just by the brightness of the bulb, where a multimeter won't load the wire. I mean, you could have a single strand of a, you know, pick a number, you know, 50 braid wire, and it'll still read the same thing. But anyway, we got the multimeter hooked up to the signal wire for the starter motor, and I'm just going to turn the key and see if we got power to it. And we do. So this is indicative that we have a starter motor issue or a solenoid issue on the starter motor. Not sure which, but we are getting power to it. So cross that off the list and keep on moving down it. So at this point, we need to figure out whether the whole starter motor is bad or whether the solenoid itself is just what's bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to jumper right past the solenoid with a set of jumper cables, ironically, and see if it spins over. If it does, then that means it's just the solenoid that needs to be replaced, and if it doesn't, then well, we got bigger fish to fry. So let's see what we got here. So that's fantastic news right there. Engine's loose, starter motor works, so we should just be able to replace that solenoid on there and on to the next, off to the races. Okay, so the next thing we got to do is check for spark. So we got a spark plug in the wire here propped up. Hopefully I've got you in a position you can see. This will be a lot easier with the key, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll jumper the starter motor and see if she's sparking. Get in there. I'm not seeing any spark, which isn't terribly surprising, but points probably need to be scraped at the very minimum. Not too confident in the wiring in this thing, so we'll pull the cap off the distributor and have a look and see what it looks like in there. I love it when you pull the cover off and it's a mystery inside. There we go. There's our points. Some nasty debris in there. Those points are looking pretty hammered, but we'll scrape them and see if we can bring them back. But these are definitely on their last leg. So we got the trusty test light out, and we got power of the coil, both sides of the coil, and we got power to one side of the points, and we have nothing on the other side of the points. So points are still no good, or not clean enough, or just generally shot. I'll try scraping them a little bit more, but I think these might be a lost cause. Alright guys, so we got a new starter solenoid, points, and condenser. So we're going to get these swapped out and see if we can get this thing cranking over with the key and hopefully get spark too. Cows! Alright, so got a new solenoid in there. Ooh, shiny. We'll grab a battery and see if this thing cranks over. Okay, got a little bit more appropriate size battery this time. Let's see what we got. Much better. All right, one step forward. All right, so now that we got that taken care of, we're gonna move on to the points and condenser. Get that done. It almost acted like it was trying to fire on that penetrating oil in the cylinders, but still, the points are hammered, so we're going to go ahead and change all this out and make sure we're in good shape. If I can get this clip off. There we go. So we got the points out. We'll give you a quick side-by-side of what they're supposed to look like versus what they do look like. These are just hammered. I don't know how well you can see that sun's glaring off my screen, but yeah, absolutely done. So we'll get these set in here and get the gap set. One concerning thing is that the bushing in this distributor is quite bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to favor the side that would make the gap the smallest and set it there. That way we know that we'll always have the gap we need, and then we'll probably set it to 10 or 15 thousandths, I imagine. So let's get them in and see what we got. Alright, so one small setback, the hole in the base for the points hold down screw stripped. So measured it up and we're going to go up one size. This is a tri-lobe thread forming screw. There's a little bit different style thread forming screw, but we're going to give that a try. See if that'll take care of it. Definitely don't want the points floating around. It's possible that that's why they were burned up in the first place. So see if we can get this taken care of quick. Alright, well, we got the points in. Got them set as best I could, given the condition of the bushings in this thing. It's pretty bad. Got a drop of oil on the felt on there. Condenser's in. So I guess we'll see if we got spark now. I don't know if you can see that. We got spark. Looking good. Well, now that we got spark and the distributor back together again, pulled the sediment bowl off of this thing and it is woof. Just woof. So we're going to get that cleaned out and flush the tank a little bit and put some fuel in it. You know, I don't know, maybe we'll see if it'll make a little noise. Now this stuff is legitimately hard, so got some carb cleaner in there, soaking it, and I got my my designated scrapey driver. Every toolbox has one, you know it. So I'm gonna go to town on this and scrape on it probably for the next 3 hours and get back to you when it's clean-ish.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Well, it's not perfect, but, you know, as they say, looks good for my house. That'll work. Alright, so I dumped a splash of fuel in the tank. Just a splash. Fuel's expensive right now. So we're gonna crack the petcock open and see if this is plugged. I suspect it probably is. It is. I'll see if we can get that freed up with something and get some fuel flowing through there, flush that out. I took my designated pokey thing and fished around up there, and we got some flow out of there now. Definitely some grunge coming out of there, so that's good. Don't want any of that. That is nasty. Shouldn't really be yellow. Smells nasty. Woof. Alright, so the fuel in this is still looking really nasty, but the tank seemed to be dry, but there must have been some down the sump. I drained a bunch of it, but flushed it out a couple times. We got a cheap car show special fuel filter stuck on there and some very temporary hose. Have not touched the carburetor, but we're gonna crank it over and see if it'll pop off. One way to tell if something's been sitting quite a while when it blows confetti out after it starts. Jeez. Sure, she's happy to be alive.